Do you ever look back at moments in your life and start to relate it to movies that you've seen in the past? I find myself doing that a lot. It's almost how I've come to process my experiences through that sort of artistic lens. I try not to let it distort my reality as much as possible. There's this movie called Before Sunrise that I've been obsessed with lately. It's really one of my favorite movies of all time. It's about this pair of strangers who meet by chance on a train. The boy's name is Jesse, and he's on his way back to Vienna after breaking up with his girlfriend. And then from Vienna, he's taking a plane back to the US. And the girl's name is Celine, and she's heading back home to Paris after visiting her grandma in Germany. Anyways, they meet on the train, right? And they decide to do this really crazy thing with someone they've just met. They decide to spend the night together in Vienna, and they start to open up about their insecurities and their worries and what they love about the world, what they absolutely hate about it, and everything in between. Free of projections, free of delusions that usually plague real life. Because fuck it, you probably won't meet this person ever again.
My grandmother, she was married to this man, and I always thought she had a very simple, uncomplicated love life. But she just confessed to me that she spent her whole life dreaming about another man she was always in love with. She just accepted her fate. It's so sad.
I guarantee you it was better that way. If she'd ever got to know him, I'm sure he would have disappointed her eventually.
How do you know? You don't know them.
Yeah, I know. It's just people have these romantic projections they put on everything, that's not based in any kind of reality.
So it's this really beautiful story where you get to see strangers build a connection almost in real time. So it's this really beautiful story where you get to see two strangers build a connection almost in real time. And there's this bittersweet feeling because in the back of their heads, both characters know that this is probably it. They won't see each other ever again. But they're both just trying to enjoy the moment. I was around 20 when I first saw that movie, and for the longest time, I used to fantasize about having that sort of experience.
No.
But if you stretch out the past 2 years of my life, that's pretty much the experience that I had. Around December 2018, I met this girl on the internet, randomly. She might disagree with me, but I felt like we had a connection that was immediate. I remember that first conversation that we ever had was so cathartic. I can't remember exactly what we talked about, but I remember opening up about things that I never admitted to anyone else. And eventually those one-off conversations turned into talking every day, and then talking every day turned into developing feelings for each other. And everything was so effortless. I don't know if it's just me, but usually when I meet someone, usually it takes a while to really build a strong bond with them. But this felt so immediate, so natural. But eventually that entire projection had to be shattered by reality. See, we had made plans to meet up in Florida in what's now this past summer. And then we all know what happened after that.
Listen, all this bullshit we're talking about not seeing each other again? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
You don't either?
I was waiting for you to say
Why didn't you say something?
I was afraid maybe you didn't want to see me.
All right.
And then the pandemic accumulated with things in their personal life, resulted in this not really making any sense anymore. And the pandemic accumulated with things in their personal life, which I don't want to go into in an effort to keep their privacy. But those two things resulted in us coming to the realization that this whole thing, whatever it is, doesn't even really make sense if we're being adults about it. And that sucks. That really, really sucks. They really were in some ways my Celine to my Jesse. This was a connection that in a lot of ways wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened anyways. I don't know, when I look back, I see so many parallels between that moment and this movie that I love so much, which now means a lot more to me than it once did. This whole idea of strangers being thrust together by absolute chance and being able to open up so easily about their views on the world, their philosophies, their past relationships. That's how I felt during those past 2 years. And then being forced apart by the realities of the world. Whenever I watch Before Sunrise now, I think about this brief interaction I've had with this person who is in a lot of ways a complete stranger. I've never met them in person, but it feels just as real as any connection I've had in person, and in some cases, even more so. Writing this video was so difficult to me, partly because they might see this. I know they watch some of my videos every now and again. I don't want them to think that I'm throwing them under the bus, because I have a lot of appreciation for everything that they've contributed to my life, and I'm forever thankful for that. This is just me trying to process everything in real time. Anyways, as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like so I know, subscribe because it helps, and until next time, peace.